Hello, friends. It's good to be here. I wanted to talk tonight about fear and anxiety. As I talk to people, there's a lot of fear and anxiety going around, and I know with all of the different bad news and all the different media attention, it really helps to create fear and anxiety. And I want to give a little bit different take on fear and how we deal with that. And this is going to be a series of 5 presentations, 1 per week, about fear and how we deal with it and what God says about it. One of my favorite stories has to do with going to church, and Teddy Roosevelt, one of our presidents, the one who was instrumental in having our national parks, the national treasures, and protecting those. When he was a boy, he was afraid to go to church. And his mother, Mitty, said to him, "Teddy, why are you afraid?" Then he quoted John 2:17. The King James Version was said, "Zeal of thine house hath eaten me up." So you can see why he'd be afraid. We all have things we're afraid of. So the question is, how do we identify those things? But Isaiah 43:1 says, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." So God actually commands us not to have fear nor to worry. The phrase "fear not" appears 80 times in the Bible. And I think God knows that when we fear, this can decrease our hope and limit our opportunities and limit our opportunities. But the God who created us in the universe cares about every detail of our lives. He even knows how many hairs we have on our head, calls us by name, and claims us as God's own. You see, the good news is if we look to God, God is all-powerful, all-knowing, all-caring, all-loving, graceful God who does care very deeply about us and doesn't want us to worry or does not want us to go through what we're going through, have all these doubts and this sense of hopelessness. And so if we meditate on this truth about God, it's hard to remain fearful about the trials we face. When we focus on God and how he considers us his prize, calling us by name, "You are mine," the redeemed ones, our focus shifts from fear then to faith. See, Jesus himself had expressed fear to the point of sweating blood. So God understands fear is natural. The difficulty with fear, sometimes it can lead to anger. Now, anger is not a sin. Jesus went ahead and he got angry, but he was without sin. So anger is not a sin. It's what we do with it that becomes the issue. But the things we're afraid of today, of course, coronavirus, the pandemic's right up there. Some of the other things that have gone on, the different, not so much the demonstrations, but the violence that sprung out of those. A health crisis we might have, those are very frightening. We just talked to someone who went through bone marrow, and he's now on the upswing, and here he is in the world of COVID-19 and trying to remain safe, but feels very fortunate to be alive. We can have family problems, or we can have financial struggles or issues about trying to find employment. But as we go through all this, we should focus on the power of God. This is a God who again calls us by name, commands fear to flee from our heart. And now, each of these 5 weeks, we're going to have some very nice music that will help us to, as we contemplate and think about this, and will hopefully help us to meditate and relax. And I hope this works for you. And hopefully I'll see you next week. Thank God. Amen.